So, hi, I'm Daniel Kleinknecht. I am the conductor and the founder of Cedar Rapids Opera. And I'm here to tell you why you cannot miss these performances of La Traviata. When I think about what we have created here in this production, in this company, it's pretty extraordinary. We, in a way, have the best of the best orchestra, the best set designer, costume designer, makeup. It's really a wonderful combination of some of the most talented people in Iowa, and we bring in some of the great talent from the United States. The singing is going to be terrific, first rate. Rarely do I invite singers back from year to year, but last year in our production of Don Giovanni, we had an extraordinarily gifted soprano, Danielle Talamantes. And so I invited her back to sing this year's production of Traviata. So she'll be singing the Violetta for us. So interesting, in her career path, she sang for us last January. Then she went back to New York and sang at the Metropolitan Opera in a production of Carmen. She sang the Frasquita there. So now she comes back to us after a year of really some wonderful singing. Our Germain is another singer from the Metropolitan Opera, a man I've never worked with before. His name is Stephen Gartner, and he is also from New York. Also has been singing at the Metropolitan Opera since 2007, and I think he'll bring a wonderful stature and maturity to this role and to our stage. Our third principal is an extraordinarily gifted young tenor. Jason Sladen is his name. And Jason was actually the last person to audition for me in New York when I was there last season. And I was ready for the audition process to be over. And then at the end came this glorious tenor with the soaring high C. And I immediately thought, wow, this guy, we have to bring him to Cedar Rapids. And interesting about his career path is that after he leaves us in January, he goes and makes his premiere with Lyric Opera of Chicago in a production of Romeo and Juliet. So it's a really stunning cast of singers that we're going to bring here. Great opportunity for Cedar Rapids to hear wonderful singing, and not just these principal singers, but we've also incorporated some of the best talent in Iowa. And we have Dr. John Moriello from the University of Iowa, voice faculty. He's going to be singing Baron Dufall. Matthew Lau on the voice faculty at Simpson College. He's going to be singing The Doctor. And from Hierco College, Laura Lee Songer is going to be singing Flora. And then to sort of stack this in another realm, come out our young artists. So we have the principal singers, we have our Iowa professionals, and then we have 20 of some of the most gifted young singers taking comprimario roles and being in the chorus to supplement our really wonderful adult chorus. So the singing is a great reason to come to see the opera. I would also say that something new for us is something that's new happening in opera in general. And that has to do with the visual aspect of opera and the setting of the scene, setting of the emotion, setting of the thought processes of the characters. And that's using projections that are realistic or maybe just colors and shapes. New to our community is a designer. Her name is Kristen Geisler, and she is a really wonderful designer of projections. And so what you're going to be seeing is something akin to what you saw in Don Giovanni, if you saw our production of Giovanni last year, where we have different colors, different projections. And Kristen will be back with us, giving us some really dynamic suggestions of set and ideas. The music of this piece is great, and you'll recognize, if you come to the opera, the drinking song from the first act, Libiamo. It represents early Verdi, an early Verdi drinking song. Interesting to me is that this is a middle opera for Verdi in the 1850s, and Verdi lived a very long life, and at the very end of his career, the second to last opera that he composes, Otello, he has another drinking song. And to compare these two drinking songs is really interesting because the first one is very four-square, Libiamo, Libiamo, a pretty standard four-square drinking song. But 30 years later, you can tell that Verdi is really going off of what he planted here in Traviata, but the drinking song then becomes wacky, it becomes chromatic, it becomes rhythmic in a different way. But we hear the starting point here in La Traviata. You know, for the community of Cedar Rapids, January has always been a time when we're finished with Christmas, finished with New Year's, and then what? It is a new year, and a great way to celebrate the finishing of the season is to come to the opera in January. We've been a part of the January calendar for 18 years now, and people who have grown to appreciate this art form, it becomes a regular for them. So if you haven't tried the opera, I invite you to be a part of this really remarkable art form that combines every part of art: singing, design, light design, costume design, great words, great stories, great orchestrations, great choral singing. It's a real treat, and I hope that you will come to see this great production of La Traviata.